So we're working now on chapter 4, which is Volumes of Revolution from the Core Pure book 2. And the first thing to say is, of course, which if it's not obvious already, go back to Core Pure book 1, chapter 5, and that's Volumes of Revolution. And make sure you understand the idea of a volume of revolution and where it comes from and how we do a volume of revolution. And what you'll find is that if we have a function like this, from A to B, I take this area and I spin it around the x-axis, that will create a volume, and we worked out that that volume is given by pi times the integral from A to B of y squared dx, where y is this function here. Okay, so you take the expression, for, I don't know, it could be y equals, let's just make one up, 3 minus x squared plus 4x cubed, I don't know. I know that doesn't fit the diagram I've drawn, but it doesn't really matter. Any old function here. Take that and substitute it in here. So you take that expression, put it in a set of brackets, square it, and work from there. Now, all that's happening in this chapter 4 of the Core Pure 2 book is that we're reminding it that formula exists, and we're reminding that you've done a lot more integration since we first met this formula. So that function y doesn't have to be a nice function like this with just some x cubes and some x squareds in it. It could be something much nastier. So I'm just going to do run you through quickly example 1 and show you the sort of thing that we get. We've got y equals sine 2x, and we want to find the volume of revolution between x equals 0 and x equals pi by 2 around the x-axis. Now the first thing is I'm noticing it's the volume of revolution around the x-axis, so I'm integrating y squared dx. So the volume, once I've worked out what to do, it's just putting things in a formula. Integral from a to b of this thing squared, so sine squared of 2x with respect to x. One easy way of losing exam marks here is forgetting to square this formula. So you kind of go, oh, it's a volume of revolution, right, I'll use that thing, and you take that expression for y and stick it in here and forget to do the squaring. So just watch out for that one. From x equals 0 to x equals pi by 2. So at this point, we're looking at this. Now, you're probably having one or two thoughts. Either you're kind of going, well, this is completely pointless as an explanation. This formula is the same as it was before. The maths is the same as it was before. I just do the integration, it's not a problem. Or you're looking at that going, oh dear, I've forgotten how to do the integration, right? Now in that case, the only remedy is go back and revise the integration chapter. So as well as knowing the volumes of revolution from the Core Pure 1, you need to know your integration from the year 2 blue book. Okay, it's chapter 11. I'm sure you've not forgotten the chapter, but it's big, there's an awful lot of it, so you need to know how to integrate this. And this is a really nice first example because it's one that people forget a lot. Do you remember how to integrate sine squared? And the answer is, the way you integrate sine squared is to use the cos 2 theta identity. So cos 2 theta is cos squared minus sine squared, and that is 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Okay, so from that, I get cos 2 theta minus 1, and then half it is sine squared theta. So that's why this thing here becomes integral from 0 to pi by 2 of 1/2 cos of 4x minus 1 with respect to x. Okay, and then this is now something we can integrate. Now the trick there is, do you know how to integrate this? So the reason I'm spending time on this instead of just saying, well, there we go, we're finished, and the reason that they've got it here as a whole exercise and as an example is this function in here, your y function, when you've squared it, might be something which is not that easy to integrate. You need to make sure you know all your integration methods from the Pure 2 chapter 11 book before you plough into this chapter. There is a set of videos in the Core Pure 2 playlist. Sorry, not the Core Pure 2 playlist, the year 2 blue book playlist on this channel, so feel free to use those for help with your integration. But practice that before, if it needs it, practice that before you come and do this chapter.